Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, I'm here at Broke TV 123. So I'm here to talk today. Do a little honest review of Ford Focus 2001. Um, Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. This is a ZX3. Now they make an SVT version, which is a better version, and they make a Celine version. I believe they make a Roush version. Now this one, I'll tell you about the kind of the differences that I know of them and everything. There's a huge story behind what I know and all this. A lot of cool, interesting, stuff. Um, let me show you here. Uh, Sorry. Okay. So this is the hatchback. Okay. And by the way, as you see, it's black, and the black ones are becoming extinct. Uh, there are some that are for sale right now on Marketplace. This is November. That's why I'm bundled up because I'm freaking freezing. Um, and but they all need something. They all need work and everything. By the way, if you find a good car that is under 5 grand and needs nothing, good luck. Okay. So, um, ZX3. By the way, okay. So see the wheels. I know you're probably sitting there going, man, those ain't ZX3 wheels. So I believe, I'm not positive on this, I believe they're Ford Fusion wheels, but they look really good on this little thing, right? Now it's got its little, scratches on it, little stuff like that. I do have a golf ball sized dent right here. Gives it character. Yes, I've tried to take it out. I have used um, the glue stick idea, didn't work. I tried the bottle cap idea, where you glue the bottle cap, super glue, not super glue, hot glue. You hot glue the cap on there. Take the bottle. Did not work, not one bit. Just pulled the glue and everything right off. I might have some crappy glue. It could be the deal because I bought like a whole bag of it off Amazon. It was super cheap, so it might be crappy glue. If I got some other glue sticks laying around, which I think I do, maybe I'll try them. I do know that glue. It has like that that blue or purplish tint to it, and most glue sticks don't have any tint to them. They're all clear. So I think there's something up with that. Somebody trying to pull a fast one. But I'm gonna tell you what I've done to this vehicle. Yes, I have done a lot to it, and I still have to do a couple of things to it. But otherwise, I drive it, and I don't know if I want to sell it because that's what I do. I buy cars, fix them, and sell them. But this little car, I don't know, man. I have two other cars, as you can see down there. That's a little Kia Sportage. I think it's a 2005, and I'm waiting on a title for that. That might go up for sale. And I got a 1989 Jeep Wrangler, which is a beast. And I don't know if I want to sell that, but something's got to be sold because that's how I make most of my money. Okay. So anyway, so let's see. I had a check engine light for evap. So if you've got one of these, you got a check engine light for evap leak. Could be your gas cap. Sometimes a lot of people don't know this, but you can take your gas cap, take it off, take the O-ring in there, take your O-ring off, turn it around, put it back on, see if that works. That's happened for me before. I tried it and it worked on a '06 Honda Civic. It worked. Don't ask why. I don't know. One side gets worn out. But anyway, for the price, I just replaced the gas cap. Cheap. Like we're talking $10 maybe for a gas cap. Anyway, so I have not tried the rear wiper. Sounds like somebody's hunting. If y'all heard that, probably that time of season. Let's see. I did not have to change. It was a miracle. The shocks. These shocks. I didn't have to change them. So somebody probably did that. What's cool is it's got this hideaway shelf. So when the thing comes down, it hides everything if you got anything in there. So I like that. That was cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Now I threw a jack in there and all that stuff just in case. It's got the spare underneath still and the jack, the scissor jack, but I don't really trust those scissor jacks, so I just put my own in there. As cheap as it is. Somebody's got this wired for an amp, looks like, or something. That's a lot of wire in there too. Yeah. I was never into sound systems. Never. All my buddies were. Anyway. Okay, so if you see the interior here, the door panel or panels and the seats, front and rear, those are SVT seats and panels. I had to do some research on that. I was like, because I noticed that there was a side panel missing on the seat here. Let me show you here. Just see side panel. By the way, if you have one of those side panels, you got a piece of gold because they are impossible to find. But anyway, because I went to go buy one under a ZX3 and I got it in, and of course it didn't fit, and I'm like, what the heck, man? It ain't freaking fitting. And that's how I found out I had SVT seats in it. I'm like, so it was kind of a catch-22. It was bad, but it was good because I'm kind of like, okay, panel didn't fit, but I've got upgraded seats in this thing and panels. So, and they're pretty decent for what they are. Now on the driver's seat, I do have, as you can see, this spot right here. Now, it was a hole. I put some spray foam down in there and it filled it up great. This is leather, I believe. So I have the Permatex vinyl and leather. You can go buy them at like AutoZone or Rally's, whatever. It's a little kit that you get, and you go in there and you fix that with that. So we're gonna try it. I've never tried it before. I am not a upholstery guy. I'm not. Maybe I'll get into it because that Jeep down there, the seats are their seats are all there, but they're tore up. I got like these cheapo covers on them, and so I'm thinking about taking them out and reupholstering them, see if I can do it. So anyway, now one thing, okay, like pros and cons of this little car. I don't like the fact that that it doesn't have electric windows and it doesn't have electric door locks. So I believe the SVT does. I believe the SVT is like loaded. The SVT, I believe, even has a sunroof. I think. Don't quote me on that, but look that up. But the windows on this, they roll up very easily, you know, and it's backwards. That's that's backwards. That should be going down. Um, one cool feature though, Pro. Okay, the way that you open the hatch is you hit this little button right here, boom, and the hatch opens. As long as your battery's hooked up. Looks like I need to clean something there. The last thing I recently did was change the gear shift knob. That's a cheapo universal gear shift knob. It took me a little bit to figure out how this gear shift knob actually goes on. Sorry about that. Hang on. So, but it was basically on Amazon. I typed in my vehicle and gear shift knob, and this was one of the first ones that came up. It doesn't take those crappy plastic inserts, that have the Allen screws and all that. Like you put the cap on, you put the Allen screws in there, and all that. Ugh, I can't stand those. They never stay tight ever. I've had them, and they look cool, but they're that's the wrong way to make a gear shift knob. This one, all you do is now my boot, as you can see, my boot is a little down. It should be kind of like that, but it's all right, whatever. But all you do is you put your snappy things on there. You got to push down pretty good and then screw it on. So yeah. Another pro I like about this. So I have a messed up knee, and so pushing a clutch hurts, but this one super light. Okay, maybe it's cause it's a little car, whatever. But anyway, super light, and as you can see, the gear shift reminds me of old school Hondas, man, like old, like 70s, 80s. But I had to. I was replacing I was adding my armrest here, which I'll show you. Let me get you on the other side, and I'll show you that. I put an upgraded armrest in it, and it's super cool. Ooh. Make sure that shuts. By the way, my door jar light kept coming on, and I pulled on the passenger side door and inside, and it went off. So here's what I did with that. I know people are probably running into that. So all it was the oops, sorry about that. Was the door latch here, or excuse me, the striker. It's got the button in it. What happens is those buttons, they wear out. Very easy to change. All it is 2 screws. You got to use a Torx bit to get it out, and once you pull it out, there's a electrical pigtail, and you pinch a little thing on there and you pull it off, and you just replace. Done. Okay. So let me see if I can get you in here. Hey, look, a piece of gold. Trim panel. Yes, that came on here. I'm surprised it did. And I think, I don't quote me on this, but I think it's 2 pieces. But if anybody knows where to get one for SVT, or if you got one you want to sell, and I'll come pick it up. Hopefully you're local, because I'm in Pleasant Garden. I'd love to, you know, if it's cheap enough, whatever. I'd love to come get it, because that's annoying. I was going to try to make a panel. I still could, because that's what I do. But anyway, let's see. Was this seat go down any further? No. Okay, well, let me just show you. Yes, it just sticks in there. You could probably run some screws in there and keep it in there. But this is the armrest that I got. You've probably seen one on there. It did take a while to get it, y'all. But there is the cup holder. So basically, there's a cup holder back there. That's what this goes into. See? Okay. But once it sticks in there, it sticks. It's got these. Reason why it's got these little stick-on pads, and it goes in there and it kind of grips. So this. Show you this. So that goes like that, and then you reach under here, button. It's not very deep, but it's got that right there. That's magnetic, by the way, which is really cool. It's kind of deep, but it's not deep enough for certain things. You know what I mean? It's got 4 USBs on the front. Okay, and so the way it works, you take your USB, like a phone charger cable, okay, and you plug one in, and the other one goes into your cigarette lighter. And what it does is supplies power to this. This is how I understand it. And then once it supplies power to the other 3, then you can plug in the other 3, whatever, your phone, whatever. But it kind of just fits down in there, just like that. See? And I pull it forward so that way I can get my arm on it a little better. Excuse me. Let's see what else we got. So I did that. By the way, I had to super clean this car. This car was so nasty. The people I got it from, it's like they jumped out of bed and was like, "Hey, we need money quick. We're not going to worry about cleaning it. Let's just take it over there." Okay. So yeah, it took me all 2 days to clean this car. Anyway, moving on. Another cool feature I'll show you. Well, I don't know if you call it a feature. Anyway, so if you want to change out your cabin filter, it's actually under the hood. Okay. Um, uh, my heater on this, I'd turn the switch on, the little dials here, nothing would happen. I know people have ran into this, okay, but I found out, and I'll show you under the hood, the fuse was missing. I don't know what's up with that. All it was like a little 30 amp fuse. The one's got the 2 prongs, just a regular fuse, missing. I watched the video and the guy was like, "Yeah, you got to put it right here." I'm like, "Okay." And I had one laying around in the shop. and I put it in there, boom, works. Good heat. Now, this car has AC, but it doesn't now. I mean, dude, it's like 40 degrees out here right now, so I'm kind of like it's kind of hard to check. I mean, yeah, I've closed the doors and turned it on and everything. It doesn't feel like it's blowing super cold air. So I'm gonna have to maybe do a little bit of recharge on it. And I believe the way you do a recharge on these, it's under the fender well on the passenger side. Like you kind of just like move the tire out of the way, like turn it to the left, and you'll see like I guess the evaporator sitting there, and it's right there on that stupid freaking place. Anyway, even a stupid place for an evaporator, because I mean, dude, the wheel kicks up something, and there's no fender liner there, so might have to get a fender liner just to protect all that. It does have a upgraded. I didn't put this in; it came with the vehicle. It does have an upgraded little stereo. It looks like it was made by Sony, so it wasn't super cheap, I don't think. But it's got a remote control. You know, I remember back in the day, dude. If you had something like this in your car, Honda guys can tell you right now, dude. If you had something like that in your car back in the day, dude, you were slinging. Because man, that stuff was not cheap. Now, the cheapest stereo, I put it in. I had a little '97 Civic, um, little two door, and I worked at AutoZone, and we sold. They probably still sell them. It was like this really cool stereo. It wasn't like one of these big old great long ones. It was only like that thick, like that tall, and front to back, it was only like that thick. Swear to you, and you just drop it in, and it's got everything on it: Bluetooth, USB, everything that this has got. Um, although it didn't have CD player, this has got a CD player. So this has got a CD player, which I know a lot of people don't. They've gotten out of CDs and all that. I mean, that's old school. Although I think it's making kind of a comeback. I still have some laying around somewhere. I still got tapes, although I don't have a tape. Although you can get a tape player or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, but it's got USB and Bluetooth and all that on there, and it sounds pretty decent. If I were to put that system back there, I don't know what goes back there. I'm guessing a speaker box and an amp, whatever. You can go to freaking you know sorry, somebody is they shooting guns down here like crazy, y'all. uh I don't know if y'all can hear that, man. This is like boom, 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 boom. People are being stupid. Anyway, you can go to like Riley's AutoZone, anything like that, and you can get the whole setup. Now, it used to the when you went to those stores to buy that stuff, they were junk. Now, they've kind of upgraded their stuff. Dude, they have Kenwood. I remember Kenwood used to be like super expensive. So was it Kenwood? Kenwood and Pioneer. Anyway, one of those. They carry that top brand stuff. Anyway, we get a lot of stuff now, a lot of electronics now, super cheap, super super cheap. Um. Anyway, um, this thing has cruise control, but you know what? I haven't tried it out yet. So, but anyway, it's got that on there. It's kind of cool. I'm not really a cruise control type guy because I like to be in control, just in case. You hate to be one of those people driving down the road and something happens. You got it in cruise control, and next thing you know, you pass out or something, or have a heart attack or whatever. Next thing you know, your car's like just keeps on going. Let me show you something here. So you got, if you can see this. Okay, so here's the where your cigarette lighter goes. That's your 12-volt outlet, in other words. And you got a little ashtray, man. I swear to you, that's an ashtray. It's got a place where it holds the cigarette. So that's, you don't see that anymore, man. I saw I saw a video where somebody was like, I ain't buying a car unless it's got an ashtray in it. That's how old school I am. Let's see. Do I need to show? Oh, this car's only got like 152, 153,000 miles on it for an '01. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Yeah. Um, I'll show you something funny. Okay. So the sun visor clip, the one that holds. If I can show you here. Sorry. Um. So the one that holds the sun visor in, right? That thing. So I got one for the driver's side, popped it in, screwed it in. It was screwed in great and everything. Went to put the sun visor in, and the clip broke in half. So anyway, I made my own little thing there. So it works. Jerry rigging. But anyway, it works though. Um don't make fun of me. Hey man, I do what I can. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's got your old crap handles in there, which is kind of cool. It's got four of them. Um, the headliner, perfect. Vanity mirror. And it's got like your lights right here, and also there's a speaker here that's going to the radio, I believe, right? So if you want to answer your phone, I guess that's how that works. I could be wrong. It's probably somebody listening to me. Ain't gonna hear much anyway. Let's go look under the hood. Oh, I had to replace the driver's side mirror. You see me? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this whole mirror, I had to replace that. Um, it was kind of a pain. You'd have to see what all I went through to change that. So anyway, let's look under the hood. So hood latch, you want to know how to open your hood on these? Okay, where the emblem is, straight in the middle, push it to the right. See, like that. And then your hood prop is over here. It only goes in one place. Okay. I do have a small oil leak. And I've got to figure out where. Because I replaced the drain plug on the oil pan because I saw it leaking from there. So I was like, okay, no big deal. It was cheap. Replaced that. Anyway, I replaced the coolant jug. And by the way, a lot of stuff I replaced because, well, it was either broke or it was disgusting. The coolant jug was the disgusting one. It wasn't broke, but it was just brown. And I was like, dude, I looked it up for the price and everything. Sorry, I can't give you prices, but trust me when I say it was cheap, it was cheap. Anyway, replace that. The reservoir for the power steering, I had a massive power steering leak. I noticed that the reservoir, it looked like it was leaking, like it had like a hole, like a burn hole or something. Anyway, change that. There is a sensor, power steering sensor that goes on the power steering pump. It was leaking out of that sensor, which I didn't even think it was even possible. I replaced both headlights, the whole things, and the fog lights. Okay. I also replaced the front O2 sensor because I was getting a check engine light for that. And now it's off. And here, I'll show you. It's right here. The best way to get it is with those with an O2 sensor socket. Hang on a second. In case you don't know what one looks like, I will show you. Let's see. Where it at? Sorry, bear with me. Don't tell me I done lost my socket. Uh-oh. I believe I have lost my socket. I think. Oh no, here it is. Sorry. Okay. So here's your part number. Well, sorry, it's backwards. It's part number 50-520, if my eyes are correct. Maybe you can read it backwards. Right there. Anyway, so the way it works, see how it's got this groove cut out on it? So when it goes on to let me see if I got an old O2 sensor. Hang on. Yes, I do. Now, to get the old one out, all I did was I just cut the wire. It just made it easier. But anyway, this is an O2 sensor. Okay. This part right here goes into the exhaust, into that manifold, exhaust manifold. So you put the socket on there like that. And when you do your wire, let's say, you're putting your new one on, your wire is going to come out this way, out this groove. And that allows you to, you put a 3/8 socket, wrench, drive, whatever you want to call it. You put that on there and just, this worked great for this. So, anyway, let's see what else we do to it. So new battery. Now there's supposed to be a battery hold down in this. I had to make my own. When you look it up on, sorry about that. Sorry, I thought somebody was pulling in my driveway. That was weird. Anyway, so just in case you don't get mixed up or you don't buy the wrong thing, so I went on Amazon and bought a battery hold down, and it's supposed to be like the block, not a bracket or anything like that. It's just that black block. But I found out that I bought the wrong thing. Let me show you, because this is what came up for the vehicle. Amazon is not always right. Hang on, let me see if I can find that real quick and show you. I might have got mad and just threw it somewhere because it didn't work. Hang on. Okay, I can't find it. So anyway, um, but usually they're like this long, about that tall, about that deep. They're kind of like, like this shaped, right? Like kind of a rectangle. But this one I found out, never seen one before. They take a block like that, but it's more like this. It's more like square. It's bigger. And you just stick it down in there. And if you see this rod, that's a piece of wood that I fabricated, right? So I, drilled a certain type of hole in it and everything, and this rod threads down into a nut. It works. I say I'll make it work. There's nothing wrong with jerry rigging as long as you know how to jerry rig the correct way. There's a wrong way and there's a right way to do it. There's actually a cover, a battery cover that goes over this. Now, in my experience of working at, like AutoZone, stuff like that, I've seen tons of cars come in. I go, oh man, I need a battery. Okay. You go check the battery, it's bad. Man, they got these covers on. All those covers are vanity covers. They serve no purpose whatsoever. Where's my proof? Because your battery's bad. So anyway, there's probably going to be a big argument about that. But they don't. I mean, they don't serve no purpose. They're a vanity thing. Like I said, it's like, oh, it's got that nice cover on there. It looks good. And it covers up that ugly battery. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's it, though. I mean, it's not like wearing a coat. You're going to keep your battery all nice and cozy and everything. No, it doesn't work like that. That battery gets hot. Some batteries swell. You ever seen a swollen battery before? It's like a fat person. Yeah, they'll explode. Anyway, so I changed out the air filter. Air filter goes under here. All you do is loosen 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and that comes right up. That's very, very easy to change. The cabin filter goes under here. Okay, this panel, and there's usually like a bolt. Mine's missing, but there's usually a bolt right under here. Just you can see like a little hole right there, and there is a clip right here, 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 and if you see in the corner there, there's like this little thing here. I think it's right. Pull all that out anyway. And there's one right there too. Looks like. Anyway, pull that up, and you might break something. Who knows? Anyway, pull that up. Oh, and the way you get these clips loose. So let's see if I can show you here. So what you do is you stick a screwdriver. See this part right here? You stick a screwdriver down in there, and it kind of wedges it and pulls that clip apart. Okay, go on. There's other videos you can watch on doing that. But anyway, let me show you the fuse that was missing for the heat. Man, I tell you what, all it takes was 30 amp fuse. So, fuse box. By the way, I don't know why, but this fuse box was laying down in there. Very scary stuff. I pulled it up and put it back on its brackets. So I don't know what. I don't know who got a hold of this car, man. I'm not blaming the guy I bought it from. I don't think he knew anything about it. I think he just bought it from somebody else or something. I don't know. Anyway, dude. So let me show you. I'm gonna show you. Try to show you as best I can. Okay. So you see the little green, this green one right here. That's it right there. Now um, on your lid, it shows you, your diagram of where everything goes. Okay. It might not have words on there. It might actually show you pictures, and you might see. Sorry, hang on. You might see probably 3 or 4 different fans on there. So, and I just remember I need to put some. I just wonder how this is going to go, but I need to put some windshield washer fluid in here, which goes right here. You'd be surprised how many people don't know this, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. There's a lot wrong with being stupid. Okay. Ignorant means you just don't know. You just don't. Stupid means you know and you're just going to do wrong anyway. But anyway, so here's your little cap. You see, it's got like a little window on it. See it squirting water on it. Anyway. So let's see. I don't know. I've got some washer fluid. Now, you got to put the right stuff in there. This one, hopefully, I'll use it out. But this goes to it's got the bug remover in it, and you look for, let's see, 32 degrees. So let's say you go to AutoZone and you buy this or whatever. In the blue bottle, I believe it goes down to minus 20 or something. I don't know, 20 degrees, something like that. Anyway, so I'm going to pour this in here. And you can fill it up. There's no fill line to it. I would not be surprised, though, if there is a hole in this jug. Man, it's taking quite a bit. Let's see. I think we'll stop right there. So far, so good. It's not leaking all over the ground. So that's another thing I'll teach you. So you go to pour. You go to pour your washer fluid in there, and it starts just coming out the bottom and everything. It's because you got a crack in it. You got a crack in the jug. Okay, and the reason why you got a crack in the jug is because you put water in it and it froze. It turned the ice in there and expanded, and that's why. A lot of people don't know. They're like, "Oh man, what happened, man? A rock fly up and hit it or something?" Man, I don't understand. No, man, that's called being ignorant and stupid. Ignorant because you didn't know that you're supposed to put. You didn't know that you're not supposed to put water in there. You're supposed to put washer fluid in there. Okay. We'll just leave it at ignorant. Oh God. Now this I took the So the big thing about these cars, okay, they are called interference engines. Okay, you have interference and non-interference. I'm gonna describe it the best way I can. Okay, so interference engine, you got a timing belt. Okay, timing belt goes around all the pulleys inside. Okay, turns the crank, turns the cam, pulleys, all that, and everything's got to be in timing. Okay, everything's got to be set in a certain place. Okay. By the way, this ain't for professionals. Okay, I'm just trying to tell the people out there that just kind of just want to know, want to learn a little bit. Be surprised how many people just don't know, don't they don't learn. I mean, they want to learn about vehicles and everything. You know, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you to understand. Okay, so go Google a picture, look up a picture of timing belt with the just type in 2001 Ford Focus timing belt diagram, and it should come up with showing you how it is. Okay, so the belt is rubber. Okay, um, some engines today have timing chains in them. Well, if you're working on an old Chevy 350 or a Ford 302 or something like that, it's got a timing chain. I know there's probably somebody watching this going, "Oh yeah, they've been around." Shut up. Anyway, uh, so anyway, some of these newer cars now they have a new timing chain set up instead of a timing belt. Okay, this one's got a timing belt. Okay, so what happens? Interference engine. Okay, so what happens if that timing belt breaks? Then basically the valves inside the head and all that they start hitting. From what I understand, the piston it just it's catastrophic. Everything gets out of timing and just see if you're in timing, you're going like this. If you get out of timing, one's going like this. That makes sense? Okay, good. Now, what I did was, oh, by the way, you're supposed to change your rule of thumb is you're supposed to change your timing belt every 60,000 miles. That's just a good rule of thumb, you know. I've seen cars go for 100,000. Wouldn't recommend it though. Because what happens is, okay, so you got oil in there, you got friction, the elements, all that. Okay, rubber doesn't like any of that stuff. Okay, so what happens is the rubber belt starts cracking, and then finally it splits and breaks. Okay, so what I did on this one, I have not done a timing belt, but what I did was I took this cover off about halfway, looked in there and everything, and you can see the belt. Now a lot of times, if a belt is cracked, you're going to see it on the bottom, on the top, whatever. I mean, I've seen tons of videos of them. They just the top of it's just all crunched up and everything. Somebody's done this one. That's what it looks like. Apparently, the original owner or the good owner, let's just say the good owner, okay, they did several things to this car. I know because I've been through it. I've looked at it. Okay, they did the the front brakes. They did now. As when I say front brakes, I mean they did brake pads. I believe they did calipers and they did brake hoses. Although, now I mean, let's just say they had somebody do it. Let's just say that because I'm gonna say something bad. So somebody, um, the front brake hoses, they were almost hitting the inside of the tire. Now you're probably going, how's that possible, man? I mean, you just kind of hang, comes down off the hanger and goes to the caliper. How's that? Well, okay. So there are two hangers in there. There's one that the metal brake line comes and like kind of does like this or whatever. And then you got the rest of it is rubber that goes to the caliper. The caliper holds the pads. So what they did was the bracket is holding the metal line, but the rubber line is not being held by anything. And yes, there's another bracket there. So what I did, I seen the bracket and I'm like, dang. So I put it into, I moved the rubber line, put it into the other metal bracket, and it's like an opening, right? It's like a C, like this. So you take it's like coming out like this. Here's your brake hose, and it goes in like that. So what I did was I took just a pair of pliers and kind of squeezed a little bit so I could close that, and the brake line is fine. No, it's not ridiculously rubbing or anything like that. In fact, in a month's time or something, I'll probably go back just to check it and everything, make sure everything's okay. I think there's supposed to be a rubber grommet in there or something like that, but we'll take a look. We'll keep an eye on it. But anyway, somebody changed all that. On the rear, somebody changed the pads, and they also changed, I believe, the brake hoses too. Now, as far as any other the brake master cylinder or anything like that, I don't know if they touched that or what. This thing's got great brakes on it though. Now I noticed that the emergency brake was not working, so I went up underneath it and looked and seen that. Well, first thing I did was I took off the rear wheels and okay. So that let me pause there. There's another upgrade to this, I believe. Um, Someone upgraded the rear brake system on this. I found out that it's something that Ford offered, but I think originally, and it's kind of weird, originally on the rear you have calipers. Okay, so your caliper is this thing that holds brake pads. Okay, and the brake pads, you got the rotor. Okay, so when the fluid comes down, it pushes a piston in the caliper, and the caliper squeezes the brake pads on the rotor. Rotor's that round thing, okay, that disc looking thing, and it squeezes that when you hit the brake. That's how you stop, okay? Originally, I believe on this, it had that set up, but on the inside, you take that rotor off, and you also had shoes, brake shoes. Those are like curvy looking things. Okay, it had that whole setup inside. They totally did away with all that, and now it's just got these upgraded calipers that you use instead of pressing in the piston to replace, when you replace the pads on it and everything, you actually use a tool and you have to turn in that piston. It turns in clockwise. All right. And your emergency brake cables, that's all different. Your emergency brake cable comes up and it hits it connects onto a lever that's sticking up, connects onto the caliper, and kind of does like this when you pull the emergency brake and works that caliper. So anyway, so I took off the emergency brake cables, and you're supposed to sit there. Okay, so it's a metal cable with a sleeve, and I'm sitting there trying to move the cable inside and out the sleeve. Doesn't move. It's just totally locked up. So what happens over a period of time? moisture gets into them and all that. Same thing with like bicycle cables. Same thing. By the way, I'll give you a little tip on bicycle cables. If you ever run into that, I've tried this and it works. Uh, get you one of those um, like a little vat, some type of little vat. Go to the auto parts store and get you like one of the ones that like you drain oil in or whatever. Anyway, get you one of those. You put your cable down in there, right? You just kind of wrap it around whatever brake cables, and you pour antifreeze in there, and just leave it in overnight. That's the way we used to do it. You pull it out next day, moves and everything. Bet you didn't know that, did you? So anyway, so back to the e-brake cables on this. So there's one on each side, and then there's a short one in the middle. I replaced all that. The short one in the middle comes up to the handle. Everything is so simple. So simple. So, and by the way, if your emergency brake cable, if your handle inside, if it's coming like way up, you can adjust that. There is on the driver's side, you gotta access it. You gotta take off your console. You gotta take that whole console out. Your armrest, all that. It's gotta come out. But once you access it, if you look on the driver's side, right there at the handle, there is a 10 millimeter nut, right? Or it takes a 10 millimeter socket. And you just screw it in or out. And that'll adjust the height of the e-brake handle. Got it? Okay. And be very careful because that bracket that holds that e-brake, man, it's like all plastic. Yeah. My For some reason, my gear shift, I got in there to do all that, and I looked over, and the gear shifter was like, just moving all around. And turns out that somebody had been kind of messing around in there or whatever, and they left uh, there was something. There's like these little grommets in there, rubber grommets or whatever. Anyway, something was out of place. I had to fix that. Ugh. Okay, so I'm trying to think what else I've done to this. Man, it's so cold. The heat shield was about to fall off of this freaking manifold here. I ended up putting new bolts in it and all that. Somebody's just like, man, just take that thing off. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. There's a reason why they put it on there. Probably because um, your fan down in here is plastic. You get this thing good and hot, that header, the heat coming off that thing, yeah, it'll melt that plastic. One thing I don't like about this is the hood insulator, this huge thing going across here. It's all flopping down and all that. It does have push in. I've replaced all the push in retainers, the little Christmas tree things, we call them. You just push them in. Replaced all those, but there are spots on here that there's no holes to put any. So it's just like, hey, how's it going? Like me? You like my car? I'm pretty cool. Oh man. Okay, so I don't know what else I've done to this. um, I think that's probably about it. I just got to find. I just got to find that oil leak. Um, and it's my brand new oil coming out of it. So if you look, see. Make me a little puddle. I ain't doing it today. It's too cold. Uh, the antenna on top. Uh, I might just pull the. Let me show you how nasty this thing is, man. So it's got like this rubber thing around it, and it's just all dry rotted. It like wants to come off. It serves no purpose. But you can replace these. You can buy aftermarket ones. Should be able to. You just want to get it off. Make sure it's either a female or a male end. That makes sense. Okay. Um, this thing has, I believe, it's got tinted windows on it. Which I'm not a big fan of. I know a lot of people are. Um, I'm not a big fan because I don't want a cop to pull me over and give me a ticket. Um, uh, yeah, but great little car so far. It's kind of old school. Um, I hope to hang on to it for a while. Um, and or if anything, if I ever sell it, I'll buy me an SVT. There are some still out there for sale that are um, they need work. There's some cheap ones out there, but they need work. Um, and like I said, I look on Marketplace a lot. I see them on there. Um, there's a nice blue one on there. It's a what they call. Okay, so this is called a 3 door, not a 2 door. It's a 3 door. You would say 2 door with a hatchback, right? But this is a 3 door. And but there is a 5 door on Marketplace right now. He wants about $2,500 for it, and it needs a rear glass for the hatch. I looked one up, and if I did find it, it was like $300, which ain't too bad, I guess. I mean, depending, but um, but the price on it wasn't too bad or whatever. I don't. It said it needed like a couple things to pass inspection or whatever. Speaking of which, so this is a 2001, so it only gets a safety inspection, and I didn't even have to inspect it because the guy I bought it from inspected it, which I didn't even know it was even a thing, but I guess it is. Because usually every time I've ever bought a car, I have to go get it inspected. But the DMV was like, "Nah, it's already been inspected. Here's your tag." Okay, and it was only like $50 for a tag. That's why you go with like older stuff, right? So that '89 Jeep, it don't get inspected at all. You just go pay the taxes on it, and it's done. So, um, one thing I want to tell you about this is, so I believe it's right if I read right, it gets about 29 miles to the gallon. Um, I took it out on a ride yesterday, and I would say that I went. This is probably bad, but I went about 50 miles round trip. Let's just say it was a little more than 50 miles. Anyway, I spent almost almost a quarter tank of gas. So that might be a little bad. Let me know in the comments on that one. I'm it's not good. you know. But anyway, it's a little car and it's great. Um, um, oh, um, forgot to show you like a cool feature. Um, so let's see. I'll show you the how the seats fold down. Do all that. So what I do is reach up here. There's like a little latch right here. Pull that forward. I'm gonna move my seat forward and then do that. Okay. To move the seat forward like that, the latch is right here. You can't miss it. Well, I'm sorry. These are SVT seats. I don't know what ZX3 seats look like. Anyway, so you move that forward, and then you know what? Let's get you off there. Take you off my stand. So anyway, you see, these are SVT. So on this one, little button right here, push down. That comes forward. Do the same thing for the other side. Now, if you want to do it even better, here's a little trick. A lot of room. So if you want to do that even better, then you take this armrest. Take that armrest out, and then you pull the seat all the way forward. It ain't gonna go because the armrest is there. But anyway, you pull that all the way forward, and then you lay this down, and then it lays down almost flat. And then you got yourself a lot of room in there, kind of like an SUV. Really cool. I love that. I love little things like that. Lots of, little room like that. Yeah. It's all about the cool little stuff, you know. Excuse me 1 second. I gotta. Oh man. I know for one thing, I gotta go back inside, man. It's cold. You're probably sitting there all warm and cozy watching this. So yeah, I love it. I don't know what it is, man. This car is cool. And it's a 2001. And like, I've been kind of more into Hondas, stuff like that. And it's like you rarely see these around, around here or whatever. And it's kind of like I found like a kind of like a hidden gem in a way, you know. My buddy had the first time I learned about these cars. My buddy had an SVT. It had a red one like this. Hatchback, 2 door, 3 door, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, he had a red one. He didn't know what it was. He just bought it and just check it out, man. And so I was like, dude, first thing I noticed in it, 6-speed manual transmission. Now mine has a 5-speed manual transmission, which is plenty because yesterday when I took it out, I got on the highway and got that in 5th gear. Yeah. By the way, I want to tell you about something that I noticed on this when I first started driving. I'm like, what is that? It kept bugging the crap out of me. So, I'm going 4th gear, and I'm not going very fast or anything. And there's a light on the dash that keeps coming up. It's an arrow, like an arrow, and it's pointing up. And then it would go off. And then it would come on. And then it'll go off. I'm like, what the heck is that, man? So found out it's a shifter light. It's telling me, hey, you need to shift up. And I was kind of like, oh yeah. So I kind of remember those on like some other vehicle or something like that. Anyway, I was like, man, but it's kind of annoying when it comes on because it's yellow and it's kind of, well, it's yellow because it's like, hey, caution, you need to shift up order. But I'm kind of like, I want to find the fuse for that thing and unplug it if it has a fuse because it is annoying. It is. But at least at first I was like, oh crap, what is that? Not a check engine light. I'm kind of like, what is it? I was like, oh, it went off. Okay, good. Oh, it's back on again. Ah, crap. But anyway, 5 speed in this going down the highway, dude, it's smooth. Yeah. Also, I believe I'm not 100% sure. Somebody can quote me on this or say in the comments what if I'm right or wrong. But on the shocks on this, I think somebody basically went to a junkyard or something and raided an SVT model and took several things off of it or something. Anyway, because the shocks, front and rear, are colored, right? And it kind of looks like it's been lowered a little bit, don't it? Maybe a little bit, not like ridiculous, but because I'm pretty sure these things sit a little bit higher. But anyway, I noticed that, and uh, the springs are red, and I believe the shocks are blue. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I remember seeing red and blue, I think, in there or something like that. And I was sitting there going, from the factory, I believe they're supposed to be black, like a regular car as ZX3 or whatever. So, but anyway, somebody let me know if I'm right about that. But I think that's what they are. So I'd love to find one like an. I'd love to find an SVT in the junkyard, but good luck, you know. I probably done let the cat out of bag now. If you've been watching, everybody's gonna be looking for one of those SVTs. So SVT stands for, I believe, it stands for Special Vehicle Team. I think that's right. So it's basically a company that they got a hold of. Well, it's Ford, so they got a hold of like different Fords. They probably had a huge contract with them or something. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that. But let's see. Ford Contour, which was a cool car back in the day. It was like a two-door. Um, um, two-door car. One of my buddies back in high school had one. It was really cool. It had a, let's see, I believe it had a 24 valve V6 engine in it. I think it's right or something like that. I remember two things about it. It had well, three things. It had a stick shift in it, which was probably a 6 speed. I'm not sure. And it had a ground effects kit on it. The ground effects going around and everything, and it had some decent rims on it too. And they made them in. I've seen them in silver and burgundy. There might have been a black one. That's all I've ever seen, I believe. But anyway, they had those. They had the SVT Lightning F-150 pickup truck, short bed, pretty much a race car. I believe it had a supercharger on it, and some decent rims and stuff like that. Uh, you had an SVT Mustang, had several of those, several different ones of those. Um, I might be forgetting some more in there, but anyway, they tackled several different cars, but very cool, very cool. Um, and yeah, but this one now in a Focus they also had a Roush edition and a Celine edition. Now the Celine had the ground kind of a ground effects kit or something. Or had like a different front bumpers and rear bumper. Um, had like the cool decal on the side. The only ones I ever seen was a blue one, blue car, and I believe it had a wing on the back. I I was going to I was trying to decide whether I want to put a wing on this, but I'm kind of like some cars look good with wings, but some cars are kind of like I don't know if I don't know if one would look good on this. This one I like it as is. I think I usually have a good eye for that. But anyway, Celine we've had a wing on the back, and the main thing about the Celine Focus, what a lot of people don't know about, was it was hooked up for nitrous. Apparently, when you bought it, I don't think there was a nitrous bottle in the vehicle. Don't quote me on that, but maybe, yeah, let me know in the comments about that. Uh, it's like they had all the hookups and everything, and the bottle went in the hatch. You open the hatch, and there's the bottle right there on the left. Like you had to buy the bottle and all that. Or if it came with the bottle, you had to have it filled up somewhere else or something. But I bet you there was a whole lot of insight on that, like insider. You know, some guy working in a parts department would be like, "Hey man, you need a hookup." But anyway, um, but that was one of the coolest things. Now, right now, um, from what I've seen on Marketplace, there is a Celine Focus on there. It's a blue one. You might have seen it. It's in Tennessee. The guy wants $6,000 for it, which is probably about right. If there's nothing wrong with it, yeah, that's a huge collector's edition. Yeah. Now, 20 years from now, maybe a little less, this little car right here will be a collector's edition. I can almost guarantee it. And the reason I say that is because when I grew up on Hondas back in the day, like in the 80s, 90s, stuff like that, dude, all those cars, like it's really super hard to find a nice one today. Like there's nothing wrong with the body. You pop the hood, everything underneath is immaculate and it's OEM. Nothing's been touched. They ain't got no cold air intake on it or anything like that. The original box is there and all that stuff and everything. I I saw, I am not lying. I saw it was either a 99 or a 2000 model Honda Civic SI. The blue, the electron blue one, two door. You don't know what I'm talking about. It went for sale. I believe it was at the Barrett auction, 50 some $1,000. Blew my freaking mind. No, there was nothing special about it. Did not have supercharger, I don't think, on or anything like that. Um, had really low miles and everything. Everything was original. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So now I know this isn't no 2000 Civic Si or anything like that, but this thing is kind of special though. I think it is. You might disagree, but I guarantee you 15, 20 years from now, if this car is still surviving then, it will be something that people will be like, yo, how much you want for that, man? So but yeah, it's grown on me. It really has. Um I've had it for maybe a month now, I think. And yeah. If only I could get that stupid dent out. That dent, man, I tell you, that thing. Oh man, it sucks. Look at that thing. I am not a body guy. Don't ask me ever to do body work. Them guys make a lot of money. I've actually worked in a body shop slinging parts, and I've watched them guys do body work. And like I said, you couldn't pay me to do it. Them guys go through hell. So, um, a lot of times, the guys are parts changers. In other words, they just take a part off, replace it with a new one. But then when it comes to pulling and doing all that stuff, and nope. But anyway, I hope y'all like my video. I know, sorry, I know it's a little longer video than I usually do, but I wanted to show you, kind of what I've done and everything, tell you about it and everything. And if you if you like these cars too, give me a shout out. Tell me what you think about them and everything. Um, I have heard a lot of people talk a lot of trash about them just because it's Ford. But I am not a name brand guy. I'm a motorhead. I I don't care what it is, dude. If it catches my eye like this little thing has, I'm just like, that thing's cool, man. Yeah. I mean, and there's no such thing as a perfect car. Every car out there has its problems. Every one of them. Yes, there's a lot of crappy Fords out there. Um, Everybody's like, "Oh, stay away from the 5.4 liter Ford engine." Okay, I don't know anything about them, but I guarantee you, somebody knows about them, and they're like, "Dude, all you gotta do is fix this, and you're good. It's good." You know. But yeah, as far as GM, so I work for GM, slinging parts, and I know a lot about like where the parts come from and stuff like that. And they the parts, they don't make GM like they used to. They don't make Ford like they used to. They don't make anything like they used to. You know, it's just a bunch of crappy parts. They come from overseas and all that, and there's no telling what they put them together with. And so, um, if only here in the United States we could, just start building. I don't even know if they even build anything here anymore. I have no idea. Um, but do everything here. You know, oh, we got our parts from there, but it's assembled here in the United States. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about we make the parts, we build the vehicles, we do everything here. You know, we have the resources, we have the people. So, anyway, I hear my cat yelling, so I gotta go let him in the house. He's like, I'm freezing. He's like his daddy. It's freezing out here, man. God, I hate cold weather. I've got I've got videos, man, where I'm sitting there just like when it's like boiling hot out here, like 90 degrees. I'll be like, oh God, it's like you gotta love that medium when it comes around. That 74 degrees, 73. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all next time. And y'all check out my other channel. Not a whole lot of people watch it. It's totally different than this one. But anyway, thanks y'all. See y'all.